There's one button on the side.
Oh, okay.
Just hold it till the light. On the front.
No, I haven't.
Here,
All right, welcome everybody to the town of Withdrawal, the BHS RSU Withdrawal Committee. It's Thursday, January 8th. It is 6:33. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Committee attendance. Everyone's here but Nick. And well, actually, we should probably start with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have no guests tonight. So we'll move on to number 3. Review and approve minutes from last meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes as emailed today.
Second.
All in favor? You didn't read your minute? Oh, you weren't there. Okay, updates and report. Any community updates?
I have an update that has to do with our committee. I did send an email for the extension. Does that count in this category?
Well,
Well,
it's down under old business.
all right, then I'll wait.
Budget and financial, any updates?
Lots of questions, but no.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna be good for.
Yeah.
Asset management. Somebody want to remind me what that is? Is that what we talked about at the end?
It's an asset management, isn't that just going through like finding out how many computers we have, how many. buses
Okay,
we
I
have,
think that's
That's what that is.
Okay. Educational Impact Committee.
Nothing yet.
Okay. Media, press, communications.
No, nothing other than, the main monitor did write, nice little article about the last meeting. I don't know if anybody caught it. Yeah, okay.
I have a copy of it if anybody wants to read it.
Oh, yeah, I would love to. I'd love to make a copy for one of our local residents.
We got an email from Nicole Norton. Did you guys see that? I think it went out to the group, right? No, I'm not sure who this hit, but Nicole Norton, she's the chair of the Town of Phillips School Withdrawal Committee.
I got an email from her as well.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
I didn't get that either.
I'll share it with you at Phillips and Strong and Andover, right? Am I right about
I think
that?
so.
Avon.
Avon,
Yeah.
right. Are also on step 8 of their withdrawal process. And she asked me a question directly about, is it okay if we, like, 2 of us get together and talk without being in the meeting? And I said, I don't think so. Absolutely not. When we have things to discuss, we do it in our public meeting because our goal is transparency. And she said, yeah, that's ours too. But she wanted to know if they should meet other than at their designated meeting times. I said, I don't think so.
You mean, did she want to just ask you questions or share
No.
ideas?
She wanted to discuss a policy thing. So.
Are we talking about them talking to one of us or?
No,
them
no, no.
talking to them? Within their own group.
So Charlotte, the woman that I emailed about the extension, also got an email from her, and Charlotte gave her my email for her to email me about that question. So I'll send it all to everybody
Okay.
and my reply to her.
and I'll send this through so everybody gets it, but she just had a bunch of questions about the committee in reference to their committee.
Right.
Mhm.
But
I mean, I guess as long as it's recorded,
Yeah,
I mean, if
to
somebody,
keep transparency.
I don't, to me, if they wanna like share notes or brainstorm, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I mean, that's not, I don't see why it would violate anything that we're doing. Like if, like, hey, how are you starting your budget? You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
what
Oh, no,
process are
she
you
was
using,
asking
things
about-
like that.
about what they are doing together, not interacting with us.
Oh,
She was
okay.
asking about our experience as a group and their experience as a group.
yeah, so they should be able to have, without a quorum, casual conversation, but
Right.
direct interaction
Oh,
about.
is that what she was asking about?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, casual conversation is fine, but if you're gonna discuss
right,
specifics, yeah.
right,
Any-
Make
any-
motions, do the.
right.
Right.
And they're on their third extension of step 8. We're just applying for our first, so.
What's our email?
Yeah, it is, BHS withdrawal committee at gmail.com.
All right.
all right, next on the agenda was legal communications.
That was my,
Nick,
Mhm.
did everybody get the email that he sent out? Pull it up.
Was that later this afternoon? Cause I think the last time
I don't think. It was about the lawyer.
I didn't get anything.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, but I assume he sent it to everybody.
He is gonna be here later if you want.
Okay.
From that to,
I think it was just basically saying that forwarded the email he got from, I think it was her name's Colin.
Yeah.
Saying that they're interested, and they're gonna get back to him with information, but obviously
Yeah, so I mean, we talked about it briefly, and I know that, get a response back from. I guess we reached out, so we probably know what some, but since they already represent the RSU, they're not able to.
yeah, I wouldn't have thought
Yeah.
that I would,
And he's waiting for one,
What do we-
he's got one response that you had, and I. Yeah.
all right. We'll wait on that then. He wants to share something when he comes in. Withdrawal progress update.
We're still stuck in step 8, because there's
Right.
13 parts to it, so that's where we are, step 8.
All right. Moving on to old business. Special education funding.
So last time we talked about what the reimbursement rate was for out of district students and also for students who are going to, well, I guess that would just be private school, but we have 10 students attending private schools. And that's,
When you say private schools, do you mean
well,
for special education schools?
yeah, like Margaret Murphy, and there's
Okay.
another one, Pine View, I think it's
Yeah.
called.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
so,
that's 10 students down here?
yes,
but 10 students total from K through 12, or that.
I think so, yeah, and that's something I'm trying to figure out. So it's 600,000 is the budget for those students, and then the budget for the whole region is over $1 million. But I might need help looking at some of the numbers, but
Just to clarify, those are out of district special ed, not like privates.
Right,
Not people that are going to like a private school, but they're out of district.
right.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does special ed also include gifted and talented kids? It used to,
It's special, it's a different category.
different category altogether.
So if you look on the EPS, they show on the ED 279, they show reimbursement for out of district costs at just under 200,000. And they're saying it costs us 6 for those 10. Interesting to know.
Are you looking at the ED 279 for our 3 towns or
Yes.
for RSU 10?
Or our free cash. Oh, sorry. Anything else?
No, maybe we can talk about this later, but I don't know. So I think that's separate from WFRP, and I don't know what the criteria is to send kids to WFRP versus those other schools. But to my knowledge, that's like a different pot of money that comes from, and that comes from several different pots of money, if you will. So it's like RSU pays for some of it, and I think even main care pays for some of it for WFRP.
Do you know if main care pays for any of the other out of district
I
placements?
don't think so. No. That's something I could look into. I don't think it is.
What does WFRP stand for?
Western Foothills Regional Program.
Okay, thank you.
So instead of having other districts have that.
We sell slots or we sell slots to other towns.
Managed, the RSU manages the funds for them, but it's
Mm-hmm. Okay. Staffing analysis.
The cost center that I did was cost center 7,
Mm-hmm.
and that is bracket, and it's school administration. And it is the one area where I think that we can make cuts. And I think that's something that we can discuss when we're doing the budget thing, or we'll do it now. We're doing staffing analysis. What do you want to do, Michelle?
I think I would save that for the
Okay.
budget because that was the biggest thing. And like you said, it's the only place where we're gonna be able to, well, I mean, other than, I'll just hold my thoughts for that.
Okay.
For the thing. Student enrollment and class size. Somebody, was it you, Neil, who had a question last time on finding there was a policy or something on how many students you have to have in a class? Or state law, because we do have a policy and our policy is we wanted small class sizes, but that's not a state mandate.
Right.
So I was thinking that wouldn't it make sense that the EPS, what they allow is what the state allows?
EPS just doesn't fund enough though, and that's like.
No, but they'll say you have 4.5 teachers, but the amount of students, we're only willing to pay 3. So that kind of, as a rough guideline, that's what they would find acceptable. They'd have to, otherwise their whole formula is kind of ridiculous. That's another question.
Yeah, Neil, you didn't get any of that updated information?
I can add it to my list. So you want me to find out if there's a state mandate on that? What we're looking for?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you had mentioned it at the last meeting that you had started to look into it.
I wasn't,
Isn't that
well,
on
you
it?
had looked up what
Curriculum requirements.
Yeah.
Right, so what I looked up was curriculum requirements, also, currently what the student to teacher ratio is currently.
Right,
Yeah, so that all would kind of roll into that, I
Got it.
think.
You can find that statute on the bottom of our policy. I just don't know the policy. Do you know the policy
Looking it up.
off the top of your head? Okay. I
don't
know.
have anything else.
I didn't bring my policy manual either.
Oh,
I
there-
always have it.
Is your guys' policy manual on the RSU 10 website?
Yep.
Mm.
So RSU
Otherwise, not the big giant white one.
Word policies.
Not anymore.
No,
It's under school board.
Gotcha.
At the bottom of the policies, you'll see references to law or other policies that cross-reference. So it'd just be an easy way, or you could just Google it.
The pitch, like a student.
ask the chat. That's what I do usually.
Might
I don't have to read the whole thing.
So it looks like, right from the state of Maine website, from elementary and secondary, so kindergarten to grade 8, maximum is 25. It's per teacher.
Yeah.
Then 9 through 12 is 30.
Ready to work?
I
And
feel
what
like
about
the
pre-K?
most we have for that K through 8 age range is like 24 off the top of my head.
I thought it was down as low as 17.
It's different for different age ranges.
Our policy is less than the state
It is
requirement.
less,
Mhm.
right?
The other thing too is, I think as we get going with this, maybe it's a good idea to maybe, if we're talking about student teacher ratio, maybe we should actually talk to teachers and say, at what point do you not want to teach it? You know, because if their classes are 17 kids right now and they say, well, you know,
That's the thing, and then
Totally.
just sitting there and figuring out, is that even feasible to change it? You know, like you can't have 20, 20 and 25 or whatever, you know what I mean?
because I know that. Because I know that according to Mr. Wilkins, just kindergarten by itself has 40 kids, and they have 3 teachers.
Yep.
So
That's a lot.
it is. And I imagine that each grade is going to be different,
Yeah, it is.
you know, as far as what is tolerable, I guess.
All right, we want to go on to the next BOE extension. You kind of gave us a,
Yeah. So the contact person is Charlotte Ellis. And she said to me, the chair of each town withdrawal committee must email me to request an extension. So I've already done it.
okay,
So I'm gonna pass this to you so you can copy the email. Then I will make sure Nick has it.
okay.
So if each of us sends her the email saying we are requesting an extension, then we'll get it more than likely.
Did she say that it had to come from the chairs?
Do you have an extra copy of the ED 279 for the 3 towns?
I can let you borrow mine now, or you take mine now.
Or we can send Cameron down to make a
Yeah,
copy.
make copies. Want to make 4 copies of this, please? Slide it down. I'll keep-
Thank you, Cam. Thank you, Neil.
I think a picture of that.
Oh, that was a smart thing. Waste my ink.
So now I'll go back, but I found the policy.
Yep.
IIB.
IIB.
Mm-hmm. It says K to 2 is 14 to 18, 3 to 5, 14 to 21, 6 to 8 is 16 to 22, 9 to 12 is 18 to 24. those are the grades versus how many students.
Can you say that again a little slower?
It says kindergarten through 2.
Yeah.
Is 14 to 18.
Mhm.
Is their recommended range.
Mm-hmm.
3 to 5
Mm-hmm.
is 14 to 21. 6 through 8 is 16 to 22. And 9 through 12 is 18 to 24.
Okay.
But the rest of the policy, I mean, there's some other information on there. If anybody wants to look at it on the website, IIB.
What's the state statute? Is that, can you see the state statute on that?
No,
We didn't reference it?
nope.
There's no reference.
Hasn't updated since 2020.
Yep. So there is no state reference. I think you had pulled it up. Now, what was it again?
Yeah, so the, according to their website, K-8 is 25-1 ratio.
Okay.
And then 9 through 12 is 30-1.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Michelle.
Now, the question I have on that piece of it, as far as that ratio is, as far as the RSU 10 policy, do they calculate the special ed kids that leave class separate, or they group them in because they come and go?
That's a good question.
I'm pretty sure they're in
Yeah, I'm sure
to
they're
that class
in.
5.
There's not very many like actually self-contained kids. They have homerooms and they come and go, even if they're not there very often. I'm sure they're included.
All right. New business. New. Well, this is gonna be a good one. Objectives for next meeting. I think we have a lot.
Yeah, I think we do too. As we're working on the budget, we want to start and divide it in half and do sections or cost centers 1 through, what total do we have?
11.
There's
11.
11, but
So we
one
do
we're
one-
not really doing.
Okay, so we could do the first 5 and then the next 5. Because there's a lot to talk about in each cost center.
Yeah.
Well, the other concern though I have is how are we gonna talk about it?
Right.
So what is the goal? Is the goal to just get numbers? Is the goal to separate staff and non-staff stuff? So that way we can decide on, or is the ultimate goal just to know exactly what line by line truly means?
And does it make sense to do a lot of work on the budget without having a lawyer? Give us direction.
Right,
And I don't want us spinning our wheels on stuff that they can easily get for us.
Right.
You know, it's-
right. That makes sense.
And that was one of the things I did hear is that anything we need as far as financial stuff or budgeting stuff, they will request it and from,
Right. Right.
from the RSU, which would make everything much more simple than just all the guesswork. And
Right.
a couple other ideas that I was talking to someone who had went through this process, and they said try to find a budget of an RSU or SAD closer to our size, so we can kind of see how they, like, especially things like central office, transportation.
Right.
And the one I found closest to us is the one that you were just talking about that are
That's what
withdrawing.
Phillips.
But they still have a budget there from last year that we could look at.
There was a couple that we actually looked at during the ad hoc.
Mhm.
I could pull it, and hopefully I can find that for but there was a couple that were pretty close. And they were pretty much in line with what we came up with numbers during the ad hoc committee.
Right.
But yeah, we can definitely look at it.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing for us is gonna figure out how are we gonna do our central office? How are we gonna cover all those positions? Because we know darn well we can't afford.
Right.
Full-time superintendent, full-time business manager, and
An assistant superintendent, yeah.
a curriculum coordinator. These are gonna have to be shared roles.
Yes,
So how are our other RSUs of our size doing it?
right.
Because I mean, I've talked to Dixfield and they have, quite a few shared, people doing multiple tasks, and it's finding the right people too. So that would be, a thought I would have is like, how are we gonna be able to set up a central office? What are the requirements? Do we need a separate HR, or can it be payroll HR, or can it be this, or can it be, you know what I mean?
Right.
Where they're gonna be housed.
Yeah. Well, that was another thing too. It was a recommendation to get an old SAD 39 budget. I thought I was gonna get lucky, but I think I might have had her throw it out like 2 weeks ago, just to see how we had things back then. We kind of gotta get creative.
Was the central office in this building?
Yes. Yep. I think it was up here, wasn't it? Second floor.
Historical society.
Yeah.
So yesterday, when I was thinking about all of this, I began to realize that in the last meeting, we were talking about things from different angles, and some people were really wanting to do things one way and others were focusing on another way. And I just sat back and reflected a little bit that really we have 3 different areas that we're in right now as it relates to the budget. So what we've been doing with cost centers is we've been studying the budget that the board passed most recently and looking at those cost centers. But those are the projected costs out. That's what, the big ask was for, right? And then the second category, we have the 8279 from what the state pulled together for our 3 towns. And to me, that's like the spine of what we have to kind of start with, because the state will give the RSU money and we've got to kind of, it's like the skeleton. And then the budget that we've been studying for RSU 10 and what our 3 towns are is like putting the meat onto that skeleton. But then others were wanting to build a brand new budget from the bottom up. And all 3 of these things make absolute sense, but we're coming at it from a different perspective. So building from the bottom up is like what I think that we should take a look at what was actually spent in the last budget year, not what was budgeted, but what was spent. So then we can say, even though there was a budget for this amount, this is what, we didn't use it all. And so the next year's budget, there might have been the same budgeted amount for that. So really like what was being budgeted, but what was actually being spent, which that would help with building our budget from the bottom up. So
Where do we find that?
I did reach out to Leah earlier today
Okay.
and asked if she could, rather than reinvent the wheel, as I've been doing a lot of like looking at all of the different printouts and taking my highlighter and trying to understand it. Oh my goodness. And there's different variations of this. This was the smallest packet and most easiest to understand, which this right here is on the Google Drive, but it's under the ad hoc information. And this is the July 1st timeframe. So it is the most recent budget of RSU 10. So I went through and I removed what didn't apply to us. And we can talk about this later, but I looked at what are the district-wide costs and then what are just our 3 town costs. So it was much easier to look at that particular document that's on the ad hoc. And maybe we can move it so it's more visible. So I asked Leah if she could, rather than us go through and rebuild every cost center, basically, so like a few of us had done that for various cost centers, but she with a click of a button should be able to just do that for us.
Just break out.
Yes, break out the
Region
Mount
down
Valley
here.
Community School and the Mount Valley High School. And then we would be left with just the district-wide costs as well as our 3 towns. So she said that she thought she could do that. And I also had asked for what was spent in the 24-25 year. So I have the budget from the 24-25 year, but I would obviously have the cost from the 24-25 year. We won't have the cost for this year.
Right.
Because we're,
Right.
in this year. So, it might be prudent at some point to split up into different designations of really where you see yourself in the one of three categories here. Build it, knowing what costs were from a year prior, or studying the ED 279 and figuring out, which is this thing here, how can we, start out from what the state is giving us, and then others maybe studying this budget that we're currently in. But that helps me to understand, because last meeting we were coming from different perspectives and we all have different strengths. And I was also, Neil, looking for the ad hoc committee information of all the different cost centers that had already been studied, and I didn't see those.
Yeah, I noticed it's not in there. I have copies on my computer. I'll upload.
Because again, if that work has already been done, we don't need to sit down and do it again.
Right, now, the only problem is it wasn't based off of current July 1st
Budget.
Okay,
It was based upon one back in
the
April.
one prior, okay.
So it can't be much.
Mhm.
Between now and the next meeting, I'm gonna try to work on taking that new one that you showed me, convert it to Excel, and see if I can punch all that information, but the formulas in there, to see if we can separate all that stuff out. We'll see what happens.
I think that's a good idea, Chris. I think what you're doing kind of helps make sense of everybody just kind of going off and doing it. I do think it makes sense to kind of split us up into those groups. The only thing I would caution is when we're looking at what was spent last year, you remember like positions that didn't get filled won't look right. You know what I mean? If we didn't spend all that, so that's the only thing I think that I was thinking that throw software looking at that was spent.
However, as we talk about what's being budgeted, we'll see that, we're still kind of earmarking for it here, and that will begin to show us where those difficult places will be planning. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna have all kinds of those sorts of Post-it notes on, this is the exception for this, but I know I felt very, very ignorant 3 days ago. I felt not as ignorant yesterday at this time, and today I started feeling a lot more smart, because it was beginning to make sense to me. So I just, for everybody else who's on this committee who hasn't worked with any of this budget, like, please be encouraged that when you get in it and you start working with it, it does begin to make more sense. But you have to get in it and work with it in order for it to start making sense. So,
And go down several rabbit holes.
yes, but so I hope that helps people to figure out where they might be able to jump in and contribute your skill sets based on these three different categories.
All right, we're still talking about what our objectives were for next meeting. Anybody have anything other than budget?
Discussing the legal options for us would be a big topic of next meeting.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody's talked about this yet.
No, we're waiting for you.
Yeah, okay. I apologize for being late. So we've heard from one of the lawyers we reached out to. We heard from two of them. One of them declined. So I'm going to actually call Dan Stockford tomorrow, because I haven't heard anything from him whatsoever. But I'd at least like to know if he's going to be planning to submit something, or give him a nudge if by chance that got missed somewhere. But I've emailed him before, and I know I have the email, right? It didn't kick back or anything. So
when I spoke to him, he was interested.
yeah, that's what I thought. So I was surprised he didn't need to reply. Oh yeah, I felt a little bit bad putting him under that kind of short pressure, but Kristen was one of the ones where he sent it to, and she responded within like 20 minutes of sending it to her. I was like, oh yeah, that's impressive. And it wasn't automated either.
So she's interested. She's interested.
I already had a submission from her, actually. Yeah. Yep. So that's sitting in the group email, actually. So.
Is it now?
What's that?
Is it now? Because
Yeah.
we didn't,
Yeah.
some of us got it, but some of us didn't.
Oh yeah, it's there.
That's all right. We can look later if you wanna.
No, it's right
Go
here.
over it.
I got it pulled up right here. So she submitted on January 5th,
What email did you send it to?
the BHS withdrawal email that Neil put together.
Okay.
I can send it to everybody else if people want to look at it in advance.
Yeah, I don't think everybody has access to that email, do they?
Probably not. I don't think they do, but
I think so, because that's where I'm seeing all your stuff.
Well, I assume that,
I thought we were the only ones that had it.
they had access to the actual core email, but if you send an email out and you do a group send to everybody, then everybody should get it.
Yeah.
Was it sent that way?
No, it was sent.
Okay.
I used the group email, not the group email,
Yeah.
just the BHS withdrawal committee email to send it to Kristen. And
Yeah.
she responded back to that email. So it's sitting in the BHS withdrawal committee.
Okay.
account.
What day was it?
The fifth.
That's she completed on the 5th, but she actually sent it to us on the 6th. But yeah, I didn't know, we were just waiting to review all of them that day, so I didn't send it to people, but I can forward that along. Well, at least we have one response, that's very great.
Yeah, that is really good. Especially like you said, this time of year, it's kind of
Yeah.
difficult.
In my opinion, her and Dan were the two leaders in this anyway, as far as who we might be selecting with.
While we're at a lull, Nick, I need you to pass that.
I sent you a text with the address.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I got a text, I said, what was that?
Okay, that's what that's about, is each of the chairs has to send an email to Charlotte Ellis
Okay.
requesting an extension
Oh,
for the withdrawal deadline.
cool. Oh, yeah, I see. He actually texted it to me, so
Perfect.
I will unread that and take care of that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So to finish up the conversation about the legal counsel, I had thought that tonight we were going to be looking at all the RFPs and making a decision. So do we need a motion then to extend it to the next board meeting to review the RFPs?
I thought we were, because the Monday, if I remember correctly, was the date they were supposed to send us any written questions. Next Friday, 15th or
16th, I think, or
16th.
something like that.
Oh, okay.
That was the deadline we had set.
That's why there's not an action item on the agenda.
I remember now. Thank you.
So, I know, I even second guessed, I'm like, wait a second. I think I screwed up those dates. No, we're good. So the next meeting is what that's supposed to hit.
All right, and our next meeting, we already have that set for January 22nd.
In
Yeah.
Hartford.
And 6:30 in Hartford. No public comments. Committee member comments.
I wonder if it would be helpful at some point, not necessarily tonight, to go through the job descriptions that I told you about, because I don't know if we have people filling those positions or not. So I was wondering about going through them saying, do we have an adult ed director? I don't know if we do or we don't. Yeah. It's what?
Adult ed wouldn't be RSU. That would be actually, we might be the fiscal agent, but it's possible.
So
Okay.
that's a great thing.
There's a cost somewhere.
It's one of the cost centers, and I'm least familiar with that, as people might remember from the annual budget meeting. I asked questions and didn't get answers.
I'm on the budget committee for
Regional.
tax school, and that's how it affects what we, for the fiscal agent.
Maybe you can help us with that cost center then, understanding it.
I'm thinking it's, like you said, like region. So they have the director that runs it, but we pay our portion. let our kids go or our
Mhm.
communities go to the ed.
So do we have an attendance coordinator? I don't think we do.
It might be a job description of like a principal.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or secretary.
We have job description, but we don't have.
Mhm.
Right, right. Okay. Some point, we'll go through it and figure out who we have and who we don't, I guess.
Anyone want to make a motion to adjourn so we can get started on our budget workshop?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
A second.
All in favor?
Kristen, I like how you described using the ED 279 as the skeleton and building from that. I really like that. I think that makes sense to me. I don't know if that makes sense to other people, but it makes sense to me to do it that way.
I think it's very good.
Yeah, oh, did I pass them around or am I set them all?
I think you did.
Get them all.
Those later, I will.
Right here.
Make
There's
those-
extras.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I have an extra too, but I can use one to scribble on. but- No, want it. I got a nice colored copy here.
Should also have a budget workshop that I printed out.
Well, I will just go over mine real quick, because my cost center was a funky one. There was ELL in it,
Mhm.
as well as gifted and talented, which are coded as district-wide costs and not just specifically, HSES or the high school. So I kind of calculated mine based on what our actual is and then added in those as well. It also had the Hanover tuition, district-wide costs. So that's something to consider when you're talking about a budget. Is that something we're going to be liable for if we withdraw? Probably not. I did find out that we don't have any ELL in this region. So
What
ideally,
ELL?
English language learners. So ideally, we wouldn't be responsible for any of that.
And then if we get English language learners in our community
You'd have,
5 years down the road, then we would add it back into the
yeah,
budget.
you'd have to.
Okay.
Mhm.
I also, gifted and talented is another district-wide cost. I know that we have one gifted and talented teacher down here. I'm not aware of another, but again, these are costs that we're sharing right now as a district. So to find out that our region only has one gifted and talented teacher, probably save us a little bit of money. Or we don't have any ELL right now. In the future, we may, but that's
So
something.
Does that mean we have to have it in the budget and roll over those funds if we don't use it, or do we add it back in later?
It's a good question.
I was told that the gifted and talented actually is paid for
Mhm.
federally.
Yes.
Mhm.
The following year.
Yep.
So
Same to ELL.
I think so, but I didn't bring that sheet of paper with me.
So when you say the following years, you're saying that they pay 1 year for the past year that you've already.
That's what I
Yeah.
was told.
Kind of like the bus thing, you get a bus and you pay, you're like, what, 3 years, but they give you the money to
Yeah,
pay
that's
it,
the
but it's kind of.
So if you notice,
It's very convoluted.
if you notice, I will break it out if I can break it out, but if I can't, it's just.
I look at this and I know all these numbers, I know this budget, and I'm like, where do you begin? That's what's kicking me.
Right,
Where do you
Yeah.
begin?
right.
So those are things
Yeah.
that obviously will save
And
us
that's-
money if we're not responsible for them.
The difficult piece of it.
Mm-hmm. I find that too, Michelle. Where do I start?
Do we take what we got and turn around and cut?
Right, right. Or
You know?
do we use the ED 279 as the skeleton and build on it?
Right?
I think we
Would
do
you-
that.
Which is,
Yeah, I think you gotta work with the E279. The thing is, we don't wanna spend a ton of time on just, trying to build a budget because it's gotta get approved by, part of the agreement, they've gotta
Right.
approve it.
Right.
But it makes, I mean, it makes sense to look at this stuff, but I don't think it's my sense to start trying to.
really narrow it down yet.
We have a lawyer and better direction.
And I'll just have to say that even though you come up with one, you gotta be,
A budget is a
you
budget.
better hope, even if they approve it, that it works well for you.
Yeah.
Because this is, first time doing it, and that's the budget that gets approved and,
Mhm.
yikes. Just
And that's the
a
rabbit hole
warning that
I went
someone
down.
said the town was not too happy with them because it needed adjustment over the years, and hopefully everybody understands that this, when you're starting fresh, it's not like, I started to read stuff on the Department of Education and how to build a budget, and I'm like, well, this is good if you're building it from a budget you've already had, you know what I mean? Like where but this,
Would it make more sense to have a budget that reflects just what our three towns cost would be if we kept everything the same?
Yeah, I thought, isn't that what ad
Well,
hoc?
yeah.
That's what we did,
Yeah.
okay, and then with that.
yeah, so if you do
Working
that
in
and
the
then
ED 279.
Mhm.
so when
And
you,
the 2025 actual costs.
Yeah,
when it
Yeah,
came to
those
maintenance
three
and
things.
stuff like
Those
that,
three
but
things.
how did you do it?
Right, so if it was broken down based upon the school account,
Mhm,
right, so the three schools have three separate accounts,
mhm.
that was easy.
Yeah,
Because you just
Yes.
throw the formulas in and go boom, boom. And then when you get to certain cost centers that was like administration or generalized like that, they never separated out based upon
It's
which school
not.
building or anything else
Mhm.
like that. So that's when we need someone like Leah to come in and say, well, Buckfield share is this, Harvard share is this.
Well, you
I
could-
mean,
in a sense, you could take a formula and say, well, we're 40% of this district, but that will work fine, except for the fact that you can't hire your new superintendent for 40%
right,
of that.
right.
So that's where, I mean,
mean,
that doing the cost centers that are geared to our school and then trying to figure out like maintenance, not maintenance, but
transportation.
transportation and those other things. That areas, and superintendent's office, wherever,
Right.
is where I think we're gonna really have to sit down and say,
Right.
how could we make this work?
Right, and for the most part, when it comes to, for example, the superintendent's salary or the principal's salary or those types of things,
Mhm.
they are spelled out as far as it's a superintendent's salary. We
Right,
have those numbers.
right,
And then we can put that stuff aside and say, okay, let's figure out how we're gonna hire one person to do three jobs or whatever it may be.
Mhm.
It's more about the accounts that come up that says fuel or
Right.
oil and
Right,
$50,000, okay? Well,
Right.
which school got what? You
Right.
know,
Mhm.
so that's when we need to find out, does the budget department at RSU 10 have that broken down, which I would think by law they would have to, I would think, as far as auditing. If they don't, then that means that we're gonna have to contact Livers Oil. Send us the receipts.
I know they
I
have,
mean,
if you do the warrants, they have receipts from whoever delivers here, whoever delivers
Mhm.
Hartford
Right.
Thunder.
and the fuel part is just one example of many of what we classified in the ad hoc committee as the unknowns,
Right.
You would think that that would be charged to the building,
you would think.
you would think.
It depends on how it gets funded, though, that's right, that's how her.
Mhm.
And I also can tell you too that some of the budget stuff is kind of confusing because they actually have two ways that they printed out the budget. They have the budget based upon cost center breakout,
Mhm.
which actually was kind of nice because we never had this during the ad hoc.
Right.
And then they have the other budget piece, which is just everything based upon the account number one after another. So it's like, and sometimes when I was looking at this compared to the other one, some of the account numbers did not line up as far as the money.
Right.
Look at the one that I'm talking about. It's
Right.
much easier. It's
Okay.
And that's under the ad hoc, or did you move down?
I did move that already.
Okay.
And it's called the The. Yeah, so it's the RSU 10 2026 adopted budget PDF. That's the actual name of it. That's the most current one, which is July 1st of 25.
It's 29 pages long.
Yeah.
So whereas the other one was super thick. Oh, it's inch thick. So
Right.
29
The one I
pages.
have,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
okay. I saw the date on it.
So I'm gonna take that document and convert it to Excel and put in a bunch of formulas to isolate just our 3 schools for just those account numbers. And then anything that's not the other schools, it'll have a whole nother category of the unknowns that we have to figure out.
I think that's perfect. That's where we need to start.
Right.
We need to know, like, these are what we can compare apples to apples, and then we need to figure that other.
Now, if Leah gets me the Excel version of that,
Mm-hmm.
then I can do it within an hour.
Mm-hmm.
If she says that she can't do it in Excel and all I have to do to work with is just a PDF, it takes about 30 or 40 hours.
She should have it in Excel. So I'm sure she works in Excel. She doesn't work.
Right. Whether or not she will actually send it, we'll find out. She said she will.
Yes. CC me on the email if you're sent out for it. I can follow up too.
Okay. I already sent it to her.
Okay.
And I had
earlier
emailed her
today.
today too, and she has been sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
she will be.
I know.
able to-
Yeah. Holidays too. The other thing too is, and I don't want to overburden her because I don't know, is she the only person in her department?
Yeah.
Well, there's different people who could answer different questions. So sometimes when I'm asking, it might not go to Leah, it might go to
Right.
somebody else, but
She's the best part.
I just don't know.
For the financial stuff,
Is
numbers
it-
and stuff, like Raina is usually the one that does like counts and stuff for Judy Bird.
yeah,
Since,
Data,
yeah,
Okay.
right.
I just wasn't sure if let's say 5 of us send Leah an email, if it's gonna be too much.
you might get,
Yeah,
we might get cut off. and say,
Do we
we're not
want to just
doing
have
anything
one
for
person
you guys.
as point of contact, or do we?
I thought that's what we were doing.
That's what I thought too.
Maybe you two. No, that's it. I mean, if you guys have already been dealing with her,
I agree.
Yeah,
Who did
that's
you
fine.
point to?
You and Neil.
And Neil?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, if you
What I can do is I can make sure any emails I send to her that I CC you on, and if you do the same that way,
Yeah.
you
You're not
don't have
duplicating.
the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, right, no, I think that's good.
Yeah, it'd be good to work at that next time. If she gives you that information, help us
Yeah.
get next time. What stuff we need to figure out. Afterwards.
Yeah, because I'd like to compare that to the ED 279.
And the thing about the ED 279 is it doesn't actually come out until February
Yep,
of each
February,
year.
yep.
So you have to, sometimes you're really holding your breath.
Mhm.
Right.
What that is going to be. So while I say it's a spine, like it is, but
That's a rough estimate.
it's,
Right.
you're gonna be holding your breath for a little while.
But
The
the,
ED 279 is what the state mandates for positions.
It's what they're going to give the schools for a month. Right. Based on minimum numbers they have that might not actually match up with what's needed, but that's what they do.
okay. And of course, the ED 279 that we have for our RSU 90 is for the 25-26 budget.
Well, that's that's the closest we're gonna get.
Right.
You know what I
agree.
mean? Like I said, they're building their budget is just about built. And then the
Yeah.
final numbers are when that comes and, oh shoot, we're $20,000 less, or yay, we got an extra $1 million bucks, because I've seen that happen.
Yeah, this is
Not recently.
A couple years ago.
Yeah.
Mhm. Along that line, Neil had asked in the email that we all were a part of about the numbers. So I had been referencing 900 numbers.
Mhm.
Those are the district wide. So on I went through and I highlighted orange that are all district wide costs. And then blue are our 2 schools, 3 in Buckfield Middle, Buckfield High School,
Right, one of
Parkland
them.
Sumner. So I went through this whole document, and 310 is the high school, 20 is the elementary school, and then 60 is middle school.
Mhm.
And you'll see that, gosh, Well, you'll see that at one particular point in this budget. There's a long, like, decimal number. Where you see those, you'll be able to say which school it is. But when we get to the 900s, there's various 900s. And so if anybody wants to know what that is, and it's a district-wide cost, it's in this document in here. Okay, so it's on the website. But that's confusing. But if we want to get into the weeds of that, because I know, Neil, you asked the question, I hope that Leah doesn't remove those numbers or whatever your question really was. There's like 900, there's 950, there's
Right.
990. I just put 900 because
Oh, okay, you said 900, I thought that's all you were looking at, was just the 900. 'Cause I didn't
No,
know
it's
in-
gonna be
in the 900 bracket.
that
Okay.
district wide.
Okay.
Anything in that 900 range is
Gotcha.
district wide. So, so if anybody's wondering what that email is all about, that's what. And if anybody does want to get nerdy and look at this and look at those numbers, then you really can. I know that it was difficult to locate some salaries. And I think that Erin talked about this in the last meeting. And so having the numbers can help you suss out what's actually really going on. And it was a little surprising to me to realize that. But it's like the Dewey Decimals number system, right? Once you figure it out, it's like information in your hand. But
Okay, so you want to fill us in on where you find the salaries that you were questioning? When you made that beautiful feed, I mean, where did you end up finding those people's salaries somewhere?
We talk about ELF or,
No,
I mean,
the first thing that you did, and you said, you had these people's names, and you said, couldn't find this salary, couldn't find this salary, couldn't find this salary.
yeah, like she was talking about, the account numbers are really helpful. They look crazy.
Yes.
You really have to have the little code there to understand
Yes.
them. But once you do, everything makes sense and you're able to start locating things. Obviously, there's some that I don't know if they're just coded or if the account number is different, but I wasn't able to find some of them. But the numbers are really long.
Do you have the code? Does everybody have that sheet that you gave me?
Probably not. They probably should.
So Kristen gave me this. It's that, the codes. Yeah, how to figure it out on the chart of accounts and the numbers. And the first number means this and the second number means this
Yeah.
and the third number means that. Do you have this?
Yes.
You do.
maybe,
Open it up.
Maybe.
I have the big book. You want to have.
I have,
all-
yeah, it's a big
all the
book that
codes.
she sent.
Color.
Yeah, and it doesn't have the background.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't have this one.
Yeah, I don't have that either.
for all of us who need glasses.
Yeah.
Pam, do you think you can make a photocopy of that? Is that too difficult? Would it be better if it was the one that Deb has?
They're the same, aren't they?
I just took the left side of what she has and blew it up so that my eyes can see it.
So how many of you actually have looked at the budget and seen these crazy numbers? Because none of this information probably means anything if you haven't looked.
Yeah.
And there's a copy of the budget floating around.
Yeah, it's right here. They provided a couple copies, so it looks like. But basically, if you're looking at them, Nick, you'll see that the accounts all have these crazy long numbers.
Okay.
So what Cam is copying is gonna explain what each of these mean,
Oh, yeah.
because they're all assigned essentially to, I don't know, an account, if you call it.
Now,
Center.
that's what-
Yeah, and then it also tells you if something is gonna be a salary or a benefit. It tells you what school it's attached to.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it tells you what cost center it's attached to.
Yeah.
So there were some things when I was looking at the budget that there was 2 lines that would say something, but they wouldn't really explain what they were. Right, and I had to look at those account numbers to understand if it was a salary position or a benefit, so.
See, like
It
this
is.
thing right here explains all that.
Yeah.
Like it's BMS guidance software maintenance. This price, I mean, you know, this amount. So I don't know, is it because you're not looking at this budget
No, it's
that you're
because
having difficulty?
That one's easier to understand than the other one that's going around.
Oh, okay, so I don't want
so
that.
if you look at the
Why don't we, how come we don't have the easy one?
is the curriculum position still the same on that one?
I gotta look.
I'm pretty sure
What do
there's
you mean the curriculum
there's
position?
two
Yeah,
lines
it's
listed
on
for curriculum
Page
coordinator.
4. So if you go to page 4 on the one that you have,
Mm-hmm.
There's a line for curriculum coordinator and a curriculum work wage.
I have curriculum work wage benefit, yeah.
So based on the coding, I was trying to understand, are these both salary or one salary and one benefit? And it looks like based on the account number, the curriculum coordinator salary and the curriculum work wage are both salary. And then further down, there's another line for benefit.
Right.
So those are things that just.
So
because
work
read-
wage to me would be like if you were a teacher and you had your salary and then you had a tutor thing, which was thing at a $50 an hour, whatever separate, that to me is how that registered. Like it was work outside of that salary position.
Yeah, that's very possible, but I guess the point I was trying to make is the account number is helpful to understand what that account means, because based on the name does not really specify what that is.
Mhm.
Is that on, Google Docs? Kristen, is that on Google Docs?
no.
That's the first time I've seen this, so.
That came out of
Thank
a
you, Kristen.
budget,
It's friendship. I love you.
a budget information meeting that Leah had held for the board, I think 2 months ago, maybe. And that was really, helpful.
Yeah.
Once we got a hold of this thing, which is a main DOE resource.
So the actual big book is on the drive.
Yeah.
What I'll do is probably tomorrow I'll scan this.
Yeah.
And then I'll put this on the drive as well.
So when you look at this budget here, like I went through and I highlighted in yellow what function. So if you look in some of these categories in between, you'll see function. Function then correlates with this here on this big thing, which is also the third bunch of
Yes.
decimals in. So you see 1,000 decimal point, 4 zeros, decimal point, and then we have 2210. So under this function here, 2210 on this chart that you all just were given, 2210 is curriculum instructional staff. So I'm gonna look here, 2210. It takes a little while to use this.
Yeah.
Says support services instruction.
On 2210, on that, the quick sheet, it says curriculum and instructional staff.
2210. But you get here to this book, and it says activities primarily for assisting instructional staff in planning, developing, and evaluating the process of providing learning experiences for students. No, that actually makes sense. But it was like lining up with special ed the first time I looked at it. So I was probably using this resource wrong. Probably what it was. But anyway, did we figure out then what is the actual salary of the curriculum coordinator and then comparatively to what the work wage is? And there were like 3 in there that were.
Yes, yeah, you're right, there were 3.
Yes, and then there's somewhat different, and then you get the next set of decimals in here. 5104. That's under object, right?
Yes, it would be a salary.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. Now this is starting to talk about student transportation services, so it doesn't make sense. So I'm wondering if the wrong code was put in here? Because I know this document isn't wrong.
What line are you on?
On page 4 of the
Yeah.
budget, I'm looking at the curriculum coordinator salary.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the 1,000 40.2210 dot, now 510401. Which in my resource here,
510401.
yeah, in my resource that I have printed out, it does not seem to line up to that. Like the overarching 5,000 category says other purchased services, amounts paid for services rendered by organizations or personnel not on the payroll of the school administrative unit, separate from professional and technical services or property services. Although a product may or may not result from the transaction, the primary reason for the purchase is the service provided. And then all the sub numbers are student transportation services. And then under each one of them, it says it's used only with the 2700 function code series, which our function code is 2210. So something's not lining up with what I'm seeing in here under the coding that was used in this budget. So I don't know if that's an anomaly.
And Nick, that's the wrong budget. That's not what she's.
I was gonna say, it's not what.
Gotcha. I've been kind of.
But so for an example, in all of this digging around, we've realized that the assistant superintendent salary is very, very minimal. But the curriculum coordinator salary is a lot more. So when
And it's the same person.
and it's one person.
Yeah.
So as we consider whether we're gonna, what are we gonna do with some of these combined administrative positions that a smaller district like ours is going to need to do, that's why we need to know this information. So when we look on this budget, what is the actual salary for the curriculum coordinator? What does curriculum work wage mean? I mean, it's $45,000 is budgeted. It'd be good to know what was spent recently under that line. So that
Wasn't the curriculum coordinator salary like in the $90,000 range?
yeah, 94. And then a curriculum work wage is 45,000. But that might be when other teachers are utilizing this. But so
It would be helpful if you go through and you have, I love your highlight, I do the same thing. And if you highlight the ones you have questions on, maybe, Leah.
I know, but like right now, everything's a giant question.
I know.
But I'm 4 days smarter now than I was before.
The one thing I was thinking is when we get the ED 279, Charlotte Ellis should be able to create the ED 279 for our 3,000.
Okay.
That will reflect current numbers in February. They actually did it. They're good about it, lots of flavor.
Also, speaking of, you said February, the ED 79 is gonna come out. Because you have the contact of the state of Maine. Can you reach out to them and ask them to
Yes.
renew the RSU 90?
Yes.
About the top of summer, so when RSU 10 gets theirs, we get ours.
Yes.
And so we have the current one too. Because also, when we get that point, we're actually doing the budgets. If we get that point, if we notice that the new ED 279 is $1 million less, right, or $1 million more,
It'll be helpful.
it'd be helpful to know, oh boy.
I am.
And if she has a question about has it ever been done, Jason Long reached out. I don't even know who he reached out to get
Yes.
the one that we got.
Charlotte actually already answered that she.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes.
When we request an extension, do we actually ask for a certain duration of time, or do they just?
No, you just asked for an extension.
Maybe tell us what the pension is.
No. She did not. I'm gonna ask her again. Did you see that? Yeah.
Yeah, I did. It's just that you had mentioned that the other school that reached out to you said that they're on their 8th or 9th.
Third.
Their third extension, so obviously there is a time limit for extension.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure if that was a standardized time limit for.
This is what I gave her and that's what I got back.
Did I already ask you this? They say why, where, are they stuck on the budget or
They didn't say why.
do they have legal counsel?
They're on the same step we are, right?
Yeah, they're
So-
on 8.
It would be good if they had
I'll ask.
Who it
Yeah,
is,
you
yeah.
go there.
Yeah.
They
If they-
didn't,
Maybe
as of
we
like a
can
month
hire.
ago, to my understanding.
Oh, you know,
Talking about they're
yeah.
still on step 8 too.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Mhm.
I personally think the best place to start is for Neil to downsize that document best he can, and then get that new ED 279. I don't know, and besides the lawyer, I don't really know what else we can do in the meantime.
The only thing I was thinking about is positions.
Yeah, me too. And I did,
You know-
the cost center that I did was,
7, right?
yeah. And it is the
We,
school administration, yes.
if we're gonna work on cost centers, between now and whenever, if we get a template, what I mean by that is
Yes.
like, for example, on line 5, you have admin salary and you break it down by school, which is great, but it doesn't give me any account number. So if I wanted a reference where you've got,
Oh, okay,
I have a hard time
okay,
looking it up.
all right, I can go
I
back.
just think that that'd be nice
You
to,
want the, okay, I can put the account
Yeah.
number in.
whatever line that you put in your cost, and if you can also have the actual account number, so we can reference it as well.
I can do that.
The second thing is on that same line, BMS, the middle school, don't you want to put in 12 that pay for that actually accurate? Or
I'll have to go look. I'll have to go look.
And again, this is why we should have the account numbers, that
Yeah,
way we can
yeah.
always double check it.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, this is regular instruction, this is other instruction, and you did what?
School administration.
Yeah,
Do I not have that?
It is on the drive.
Yeah, it's on the characters.
Yeah.
Did I? No, it's probably here, I just,
It's one sheet of paper file.
oh, yeah, right there, okay.
And if you put it instead of portrait of music landscape, you would have all 3 to look at.
Yes, but you need to save it as landscape.
Oh, I didn't. But I did. Anyway, what I was thinking about, just what you were saying, Michelle, is to look at what we've been spending money on and do we really need it?
Right,
You know, yes, we need office supplies and yes, we need postage, that kind of stuff.
yeah,
But,
can we pare down our administration?
exactly. And I think we can pare down the assistant principal and the assistant principal benefits and the.
This is our assistant principal class athletic director, correct?
No, that's the
Yeah.
elementary school.
Athletic director that is, staff.
Okay, so we have a staff, so that person is just the assistant principal for both schools now,
Correct.
shared
Correct.
between, okay.
Well, the first one is elementary school. Is that shared
It's
with?
the same person,
Mhm.
they're
Mhm.
part-time elementary.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
that's why you've got 2 costs
Mhm.
there, but it's the same one person.
Mhm.
That was kind of my question for some of the special ed services, like, I don't know if anyone knows the answer to this, but like, I have a cost for example, like how much our social worker gets paid, but I don't know if she's also in like other accounts for other schools or for gen ed or, but then there's
Right.
also OT and speech and like, I don't know if that's like the whole cost or.
Well, because that's the other tricky thing that we're gonna run into is the idea that if we have, let's say, admin salary or teacher salary or whatever the salary may be, obviously, if it's one salary, we can pretty much figure out who that person is, right? But if it's a group that says $2 million for salaries,
Right.
well, which teachers, which grades?
Right.
I mean, we can find out what school they're in based upon the code, but we don't know which teachers they are and which grades that they're teaching.
Mhm.
And so that's all. So getting to your question, is more like, because if that teacher is also teaching at the elementary school and then also teaching at the middle school,
It's gonna have charges in
they're gonna
both
have
schools.
two charges. But we won't know that those charges are carried over without actually identifying a person or a position
Right.
compared to just a group number.
Agreed.
And I do want to say we need to talk about positions.
Yes.
Not people.
Correct.
Yeah.
Addition.
Yes.
Yes.
Just doing my.
Yep.
Put it out there.
Thank you.
Deb, you had asked, or Neil, you had asked if there was a typo, or maybe Michelle asked if there's a typo for the Buckfield Middle School.
Administrative salary.
Yes.
Administrative salary.
Yes.
I have it right here as 43,1290.
That's fine.
So it's missing the 4.
Yeah.
So it's only $4,000?
431290, yes.
No, it's 40312.
Oh,
So
40.
Okay. Well, that was a little too low.
40.
But again, that's shared, so you'll also see it
Right.
reflected in the Buckfield High School administrative salary.
Yes.
Mhm.
Now, that admin salary, I assume, is more than one person. Spread across 3 schools.
So it's Buckfield Middle and Buckfield High School, same staff person or administrative.
Right,
So you're saying that that is the same position?
So you will see the middle school administrative salary is 43,12, and then when I flip to
81.
Buckfield High School administrative salary, you'll see 81,847.59.
Right, but my question is,
How many
again, this is where position people
One
come.
person,
The same person.
same person,
So that person is actually making
yes.
$200,000?
no. The Hartford Sumner Elementary School has one principal.
Okay, so that's.
And then the principal for the middle school and the high school is the same person. So you got your
Okay.
121 and your 120 something.
So when it says admin salary, that's actually talking about the principal. That's the position.
Yeah.
Yes,
So that's what we also need to start finding out, I think, to help us understand is which, what that position is.
Mhm.
Because then it's gonna say, do we need that position?
Mhm.
Because admin salary does not tell me that it's a principal. It just says admin.
That's what it said in the budget, so that's
Yeah.
why I took it like.
So we board members now.
No, right,
We have
exactly.
administrator and then we have assistant principal salary. So
yeah.
Right.
we would know that.
Because what I can do is, when we do the Excel stuff, is I can add a whole nother column with a header that says position. That way, if there is a specific position, like principal or whatever,
Right.
we can,
And this book
Put it in.
will delineate it as
Okay.
well,
Mhm.
those codes.
Admin, you said admin is principal,
Mhm.
Yes.
and why do they have a line that says principal travel?
That's a
That's
difference for travel.
Mhm.
This is just,
Doesn't
this
say
is just.
admin travel now.
Okay.
Again, it's in here.
Okay,
This the whole state has to go by this.
all right.
and while we have a pause, I did forward that lawyer response
Okay.
with her proposal as an attachment.
Thank you.
I also, in the BHS email, added the group emails as a separate contact. So if you
Nice.
email out that, you just select.
Nice, okay,
And
great.
it should just kind of come.
That's-
So when I was going through my custom and I thought about what we could do without, then I thought about we could do without assistant principal and the assistant principal benefits. And when I added them all up, it totaled more than $100,000. And I thought, okay, that's an okay savings if we're thinking about a position
Mhm.
that doesn't need to be just the assistant principal. Maybe we just need a principal and somebody else who does curriculum coordination and another position.
Or we're gonna have superintendents, you know what I mean?
Right,
We're-
right.
We're
That
really
could
trying to
happen.
figure out what our administration,
Yes, yes.
Yep,
and that's why it would be helpful to find schools that are the same size.
to see how they're sharing their
Population.
positions, because
Right.
no way. Or maybe that's why they're trying. Cause I was looking at their budget, it was quite, like you said, it was close to what you got for us, right?
Mhm.
Which you found nauseating, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Kristen, one question I have for you is in your finding of information of the account numbers and stuff, did you know one way or the other if there were specific account numbers or isolated to just certain cost centers? Or did the numbers go through all the different cost centers? Like, like you have that big number, you know, that's separated by the dots, right? Is there a specific code in one of those numbers that tells you that it's definitely in cost center 1, or definitely in cost center 2, no matter what?
Aaron, do you know this right offhand?
I would say no.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm shaking my head, but I was trying to be quiet.
So in this
Yeah,
here,
that's what I'm looking at.
I can see there are function categories. So I went through and I highlighted in yellow, everything was function. So I'm on page 9, it says office of the principal, and down near the bottom, it says function office of the principal, 2,400. So that's gonna be 2,400 under function codes in this category here. So that's gonna be your third one in, right?
Gotcha.
1, 2, 3.
So I will say, when I looked at cost centers versus the new one, and I tried to compare them, they're all over the place in that one. That's not gonna be broken out by cost center at all.
Okay.
Perhaps another way of answering this is when I went through that massive budget that's, you know, like this one here that we all did. I was pulling my hair out with, I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense to me. It goes numerically. So
Right.
when you look at the one that's on the district website that
Yep.
says approved budget,
Yeah.
it starts at the lowest decimal number.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the end, it's got like the 9,200 starting out, or not starting out, and then that second, the program code.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, so there's rhyme or reason to it in that regard, but
Right.
I'm still trying to figure out, like, the cost centers that the board looked at back in March of last year are organized the best way when you're just looking at the cost center. But this one seems to have them organized by the function group, which is
Okay.
again, this one here. So if you want to know who are the administrators, what are the costs associated to being a principal or an assistant principal in the building, you can go there and look at it.
Gotcha.
Or you can look at it in the grouping of superintendent or central office costs, which
Gotcha.
makes the most sense to me. But this one made me want to pull my hair out.
Because the other possibility too is once we are able to do the Excel extrapolation of all of our data, it's possible, based upon the actual cost center document, if I go in and look at all those count numbers, I might be able to separate, so we could have it in 2 views. Kind of like how they do, but just for our.
So Leah presented to the board in cost center this last year, and in years prior, I don't know what way it was. It seemed to make more sense to me then, but now I'm wondering, I'm questioning everything, but she could present it in a variety of ways. It may just be a matter of us asking her, what do we need? So we shouldn't try and reinvent the wheel. She can maybe just give it, I mean, obviously, we're now seeing it a third different way here.
Right.
This was news to me. I don't know where you guys got this from with the ad hoc committee, but this is
Maybe Jason uploaded it and maybe he said something and it went one ear and out the other and I
okay.
didn't pay attention. Possible. Because the other question is, am I correct in saying, and I can look this up if I need to, but the software, I think it's mandated by the state software, all the schools
I'm sure it
for the
is.
budget.
Do you know? I know we have to go by 11 cost centers, and that's what our warrant looks up. That's how all districts vote, is on the 11 warrant articles, but that's also dictated by the 8279. So that is mandated, but I don't know if the software is. Sure, right.
Right. I can look it up and see if it.
I mean, that's a great next question. Do we need software to start doing this? And I think, Neil, you asked that last time.
I think we are, because once we become a separate entity as far as licenses for any software, we are no longer licensed as RSU 10. We'd have to be licensed as RSU 90, and therefore we'd have to get our own license for any software we use.
which that would come in time, but for now, in our planning purposes.
Right.
Because that will still be RSU 10 and
Correct.
the town.
Right.
Vote.
Correct.
Right.
Because at some point, whether it's us or the new school board or how, whatever it is, when they're gonna have a category of all the extra stuff that they're gonna have to purchase because we're not RSU 10. One is software and license, one is, whatever RSU 10 takes away from us. So we're gonna have a humongous category of one-time fee that we have to think
Central
about.
office thing, basically.
Yeah.
So is there, what things can we work on until we have, ED 279, the lawyer? Is there much that we can work on that we haven't?
I'm gonna translate it to Excel, and
Yeah.
then once I have that, I can shoot everybody a copy, and then you can play with it.
That would count.
Yeah.
And then also double check that I did it right.
Well, Leah said she'd get back with me at the beginning of next week, so
Right.
why don't we start there and whatever
Right.
she presents to us with all this.
Right.
And, there's no need for Deb Reno here to be doing all these codes and all of us to be doing that when it's literally already right here.
Right.
So if Leah is able to get that to us.
Timing wise, though, I don't think it sounds too far off, though. I mean, we're meeting on the 22nd to look at a lawyer and. And the lawyer thing. Yeah. Could be all right.
So we should get the other cost centers then, maybe?
We can at least look at it, but I definitely think because I don't know if this cost center, the one that has the cover sheet, I don't know if that represents what you showed me, but in a format. If the numbers are not the same, then we should not be going by them.
That's different.
This one has the cover sheet, and then it breaks down based upon the cost center, 1 through 11.
Okay, that's like the warrant article, basically, that we're voting on.
But this is on RSU 10 website.
Yes.
Is that the
So
quarterly report thing?
past that, it breaks it down into the different cost centers.
Yeah.
Right.
That sheet of paper right there is not gonna. But all the sheets after it.
No, but the sheets after it starts with cost center 1, and then it breaks down every single count number,
Mhm.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So assuming that is correct,
Mhm.
then that's what we should be going by.
I did compare some of my costs between the cost centers that were presented to the board in March, which is what is on the website, in that format. Some of them were a little different
Right.
than what the approved budget was.
Right.
But I didn't go through everything and look at it that way, but
Right. I mean, if when we do break it down, if it comes out, let's say one of the cost centers is, let's say 30,000 less or more, then we can go to that cost center with the current one and actually look at the count numbers and see what had changed between the approved budget and that's, but that's assuming that Leah doesn't give us the updated version. Because if she gives us the updated version,
right.
this question is when.
So this one right here is not the updated one.
No, that is the updated one, it's just not in this format. Because this one breaks it down based upon account number
Yeah,
from lowest to highest. This breaks it down by the cost center itself.
okay.
But this one is on their website, and I don't know if this is accurate, but Kristen said that there's something that didn't line up, so.
So what I did when I did the cost center 4, which was extracurriculars and co-curriculars, I had your cost center document pulled up and I just cut and pasted. But I was looking at my printed out version of this.
Right.
And I was beginning to make sense between both of them.
So you're saying that you took that information from the document I had on the ad hoc report?
Yeah.
So that was back from
March.
March and April.
Yeah.
So some of those numbers will be off.
I believe I did check against this
Okay.
one. I believe they were fine.
Okay.
But
It just depends on which cost center, because remember when we had the town meeting and like Cameron stood
Yeah,
up and there were
right.
some people
There
that
were
said, I take this
adjustments.
off.
Yeah.
So I think those numbers are off. I just don't remember which account number those fall into.
45,000 from buildings and grounds and 45,000.
can't remember.
I love the account number.
And then we added 45,000.
So
Yeah.
We're working on the special ed and we haven't done the buildings and grounds, the transportation, right? Or.
But if Neil gets the update sheet, he can just,
Right, I just push a button.
yeah, and then we'll have all that.
Yeah.
Right.
So do I need to keep doing my homework or should I wait?
Why don't you wait, that way we're not wasting our time. And then once I send you the actual paper, the actual section or the mass account number, then you'll have to look at the account number that's in the cost center and cross-reference it to the correct cost center and then start making the list that way.
Okay.
But I think that we should also have different category, and Chris and I had mentioned this, I think also you, Aaron, too, is one would be staff and staff related, such as benefits and stuff like that, stuff that we probably aren't going to be able to change too much unless it's in administration.
Well,
Everything's in a contract. You cannot.
Right, exactly.
no,
Baby
you
thing.
can.
Numbers.
I mean, as far as you can cut,
Numbers of staff.
Right.
yeah, numbers of
Right.
staff, you can.
Positions.
But no employees when you're making less.
Right.
than
No,
the
no, no.
contract.
No,
But that's why I'm saying have a separate category for that, that's pretty much almost fixed. Right?
Yep.
And then a separate category that's all the miscellaneous stuff that is supplies, paper that we know. And then the last category is something that, what does that count really mean? What does it go to? That we have to do research.
Yeah.
Because then, once we have that last category of research, then we can assign people to those researchers and say, who wants to go research this?
Or if we had a list of stuff that needs research, and then
Yeah.
Leah,
Right, exactly. See what she says.
and get the answers from her and
Right.
save people time, then we need to do research after that,
Right.
but it would be good to have that list.
So I was thinking that once we have a document that's going, that gets built, right? We're starting to build a budget. We should have the next column over what was actually spent. So, and I know I've been saying this
Right.
numerous times, but, so compare what the budget is saying and what it is that they actually did spend. And then, that was very loud yawn back there from the peanut gallery. And then, and what was it you were just saying, Chad, that, just another, I forget, things that we don't quite know, but we might
Yeah.
wanna,
Right.
Like having a category, like a list of things that we don't, like Neil was saying, we need to do research on, we need to know what this is, we need more information on. Good to have like.
Right.
So it sounds like those are our objectives. Well, that's nice.
I didn't quite much, I mean, I guess to look this up, but like, if we bring this to the towns to vote. Do we still, does that count as our budget? Or do we have to, again, there's another budget?
another lawyer question, probably.
Yeah. I agree.
They have to approve that budget, right?
So
So,
that's what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
does that count as your approval of it, or do we have to have another budget meeting?
or would there be an approved budget before that?
It'd
Right?
probably be
I don't know
approved
how-
by the state and then go
And then-
before the voters.
And then go before the voters, because they'd have to know exactly what they were voting on, right?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if they could do that for the vote to leave the RS.
I don't know.
Right.
Reread the steps.
Okay.
No, I think it's a lawyer. Truthfully.
Because by the time we actually do, if it goes through that whole process, there'd be another 8279 all over
Right.
again. So
Right.
we're back in the.
Yeah, because you would be voting in November and you wouldn't be starting till the following school year.
Right.
So it's just
Right.
to me, it's just, this is how it's gonna look. I mean, within is it gonna be millions of dollars more? $100,000 different year to year? I mean, there's really no way we're gonna get perfect numbers.
Right.
We just gotta know what we're doing, I think.
I'm just curious.
Make some,
How it went with Pittsfield where they left and then they could pass a budget for what,
Like 5 times.
5 times.
you know, so like.
but was that the first year though?
Yes.
Right, but were
Yeah.
were the numbers that their committee came up with
Yeah,
so low?
yes, they had to add back
That's
things
the
in.
reality.
And that
So
probably is gonna happen because we can sit here and say, like, well, we don't need this position, we don't need that position. We're gonna try to do this and that, but we know we're not really gonna fill these positions. So, you know, the town had to say, wait, we're willing to spend more because we actually think we really need this. We're not the all-knowing here. With a no-knowing.
Yes.
You know what the hell we're doing with this thing. But, I don't know.
Does anyone know the history of that? Was it the townspeople kept voting and making them go back because they wanted the budget cut?
No, they wanted stuff added back
They wanted to
in.
add stuff.
Yeah, because I think at
And
one
one of
point
them was
they
a
were-
coach, I think.
One of them, yeah, and then there was something about an art teacher too.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I thought it was all about numbers actually.
It's some of these.
Did we ever reach out to Barbara Chow
Yep.
and ask if she might join us for one of these meetings? Did that? did we
Well,
get a
I think she
response?
joined you guys, didn't she?
Right, but that was.
And I did ask about the person who built the budget for them. And he wants nothing to do with it because I think he got a lot of heat. As you can see, they didn't pass the budget, so he's like, no, not willing to come down. Give us guidance. And I don't know how much involvement Barbara had with the actual budget, but
Okay.
she's the one that told me, you know, find the school close to you. You guys you gotta think out of the box with filling the administration position.
I mean, if we do end up with a lawyer that did dare go, then we'll have a lot more.
Yep,
Or one that's done.
multiple,
Right.
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 Seems like that's the looming question. We need a lawyer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So so when are we gonna vote on picking a lawyer, or do we vote on? picking a
On the
lawyer?
2 weeks from
22nd.
today.
The 22nd.
Mhm.
Because the RFPs will be done by the 16th, so we should have an idea.
I came in late, but I hear you saying somebody else is going through this and they're on step 8. Who is that?
Town
Strong.
council.
Strong and Avon.
Oh, okay.
So with that being said, we probably don't have anything else to cover tonight.
No, the only thing I really would like to look at is staffing. You started, I mean, from the elementary school,
It's a
you
rough
did,
start.
you did the elementary school, I know, but we should be able to get a list of positions.
Yeah.
From someone, from both schools,
Yeah.
you know? And do we have like a math coach? Do we have a literary coach? Do we have this person? Do we have that person?
So to
Do
get
we
that,
really need these people?
would we,
You know?
would we assign Neil and Kristen to get that? Were they the contact so far? Or I don't really know how we're gonna get an exact list without reaching out to RSU.
Right,
can we just
that,
go
would that
with
be
the-
Raynette or would that be Leah?
Leah notes. I mean,
Well, I did email 2 days ago and I asked about Title I funds or any of the title funding. And I was given a list that has 5 current at Hartford Sumner Elementary that are Title I or Title II funded. There's 1 teacher and there's 2 ed techs. So there's a math coach, there's a literacy coach. Literacy teacher, literacy ed tech, and math literacy ed tech. So, does that answer your question about do we have any coaches, or you mean coaches that are not funded by title?
No, I wanna know who's there and how they're being funded, basically, and are these
So,
all,
That's-
I mean,
that's
are these
actually
all the
really-
positions that we?
So-
Who's there and how are they?
Aaron
Right.
Aaron did put together a document and
Right.
it's up. And
Right.
so there are those names that are there and I could go through and I could say which ones are the literacy or math coaches. Yes, so.
Now,
I feel-
Aaron, did you just do just the teaching staff, or did you also do like maintenance? Or any?
I mean, I did a rough estimate on bus drivers. We keep changing, but.
Right.
I did my best guess. I would like an actual list from somebody that actually said, yes, this is what we have 5 bus drivers. And
Right.
Right.
I would like a legitimate list, not me going and digging and hoping that nothing has changed since the last time I went digging.
I mean-
Somebody said that the lawyer does some of that reaching out, or did I hear that incorrectly?
From what I heard is that if we have questions, you're not getting a hard time right now.
Right.
But if it gets to the point where they're like sick of you, or it's taking too long to get your information, the lawyer will do that stuff.
Right.
Okay, so if people have specific questions, they want run up the food chain, reach out to Neil or myself. Well, that's like, put your body of your email into an email so that we can hit send on it.
And as far as Title I, none of that stuff is on here,
Right.
No,
in here.
Right.
Those things have to be applied for by a certain time too. Like this paperwork you have to do.
Mhm.
And I think that's when they were saying that they had to hire Clarissa to get that stuff done for them in time. So that's another thing. You know, we don't even know. I mean, can we keep we fund those positions with Title I. Other districts don't necessarily use their Title I to fund positions. They use it for other things because there's a whole list of things that you can use.
Yeah, and it.
Or they try to
specific
not-
list.
Yeah, not to pay positions with that. I don't know why.
It's meant to enhance, not meant to fund.
Okay.
Well, there's Title I, there's Title II, there's 3, 4, and 5 too, but I mean, it seems as though it's.
Right, and
There's
when will we
designation.
find out how much of that we'll receive, or do we just say, well, we're not gonna fund those positions if we don't have Title I or Title II?
Those are
Funds.
other questions like that Chad was talking about of the extraneous.
I could sit here all day.
But I think it would be important for us to get a list of staff by school, how they're.
Email me that and I'll do it.
Staff or the.
Okay.
We don't need to
I
know
don't
that
wanna
name.
remember
I
what
mean,
we-
we got 3 elementary school teachers, we pay for them out of the general fund.
Right, the position, not,
Yeah.
right.
So, go ahead.
So you can send that email to Leah to get positions and also how they're being paid. I can also kind of backdoor that up to principals. They won't know what they're getting paid, but they can at least. This,
Didn't we already get that information?
well, I asked for teachers, I didn't ask for calls.
yeah,
So I got a list of the job, position and descriptions from the DOE. Everyone. I don't know if that's helpful or not.
Job descriptions of typical, what are you talking about?
What the actual positions are meant to be. Or if you're administrative, that's your description.
Oh, okay,
that
yep.
stuff. Do you have that as a file? How do you get this?
I printed it off the DOE website.
Okay, if you want to send me the link, then
Mhm.
hold the files to the
Yeah.
drive, that way people have this on.
Yep. I do have a question that is not on that topic, but it's on what Michelle was saying about coming from the general fund. There's another giant question for some other time, probably, but every single item in here is coming from the general fund, and when I look on this sheet of paper, so the general fund is the very top one, it's the 1,000.
Right.
Well, there's other things in there that I'm wondering in this budget, should they be starting out with a different number? Or asked a different way, WFRP, should we be seeing those? Should this budget right here indicate to us WFRP students, and should we then have a 9,100 starting that? I don't see those reflected in this budget, so do you have an answer for that?
But that's great for that third thing you're talking about.
For the list of,
Sorry.
but I mean, like, grant funds are also.
Well, doesn't it say separate fiscal and accounting entity on the top heading?
It does say that.
Mm-hmm.
So is that the answer to my question? We are only ever gonna be dealing with general fund?
I have never, ever seen an amount from grants, Title I or Title II?
And we need that
Why?
information.
Yeah, well, they should be, like, they have the numbers.
So,
Why is it not put in the budget?
I mean, like to track buses and to, you know, like that kind of debt stuff, I'm not seeing it in here either.
No.
So we need that information.
You mean the debt for, like, if we have buses and the state reimburses us?
Yes, that the bus.
There's a
program.
spot on the ED 279 for the amount of money that the state sends us. We just don't have any.
So it was strange to be dealing with that annual budget meeting.
But wouldn't that be on, that would be
here.
on the revenue side?
So I don't see a revenue side in this budget
Right.
though.
That's
Right.
that's what she's saying, it's all like coming out of general fund.
So shouldn't we have a bigger packet of budget so that we see the revenue side to be a
Generally,
Right.
it's broken down on lines on the last page of the budget that we vote for, correct?
Yeah,
Where it says so much from this, so much from carryover. But I don't even think in there I've seen Title I, Title II, or
no. And I'm saying we need
I think
that
it's like a
information to be a good committee who's trying to put this stuff together. Like, what are our title funds? What is the bus bond? What is the
Right.
school bond? What is, I don't know, any other, like, we have the lease, the EEI lease. The way that we've been doing things to repair our building.
It's like EEI.
So it's called a lease, but it's not like what you think a lease is. It's
Yeah.
really like it's debt.
Yeah.
It's like a credit card.
Yes.
You know, it's a loan for so many years. That's not reflected in here either, but those are very important pieces of the budget.
right.
Yes.
I mean,
So we need, this packet probably needs to be 2 or 3 times this size.
right. I mean, there is a line, for example, under transportation, where it does talk about transportation bus purchase, and it has
Yeah.
a number in there, but like you said, it doesn't have the other side of the equation, where the
Right.
state offsets that.
What
Right.
page are you on? See that?
Well, I'm on, not on yours,
He's on the old, yeah.
I'm on
I don't want that one.
the one that actually breaks it across there, but I can give you the account number.
Yeah.
Want the account number for that?
No, I'll find it.
Okay.
later. Too many decimal points. I'll find it in.
But it's in the 9.
That would be another, it'd be other budget document, it'd be in the very back. All right, thank you. I'll find it. Oh, wait, no, it is that.
So I was looking into transportation a little bit and how it was funded through the state, and it's this crazy formula. I would like to know if there's a way to figure out if this number that the state gives us even close to covering transportation.
I would say no, it has.
Because it never is, because it never is.
It's this, the costs have been skyrocketing.
Well, yeah, with overtime. Because we don't. Yeah. 584,000. But the formula is so complicated, I don't think. You know, you get something for, it's like almost like mileage, because if you're in a rural area, you get more because you're traveling so much. It's crazy. I don't think it has anything to do with staffing per se, it's just.
Right. The Title I stuff is just as convoluted.
And this is why I think that nobody is expecting us to be rocket scientists. We're citizens, volunteer citizens. I don't think they're expecting for us to, you know, have like this perfect budget and be able to do this
Right.
without assistance,
Right. We're doing the best we know how.
you know?
Right.
There is a fear that's going on though, that teachers are gonna be getting paid less. Staff's gonna be getting.
If that's
paid less.
still going on,
It is.
that, well, that's
Yeah.
just, it's nonsense, and I just can't even believe it, because they should read their contract, and then they would know.
Right.
The only thing we can do
It's cut position.
is do a downsizing. What do you call that again?
Downside.
No. Okay, a reduction is forced,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, and they've been through one of those before, and did one. And I think that actually one should be done every 5 years, to tell you the truth. People just end up in there, especially after you have a big thing like COVID. Where people just find their way into the cracks. But
I will tell you too, the other thing is, we had a presentation at each town during our ad hoc. And we were upfront with everybody that showed up that we were looking at a $3 million award. Based upon the numbers. And everybody we talked to was like, they didn't care. They wanted the local control and.
yeah, I think 3 million is way out there, because I don't even know how you guys even arrived. And like I said,
Based on the.
you can say $3 million and you can say, look at the staffing and stuff, but then you've got staff funded through another,
Right,
are they counted
right,
in, this? I
right,
mean,
because we don't have the actual other
Right.
side of the equation, because if
Yeah.
there is a teacher salary that's in this budget, let's say for 75,000,
Mhm.
but it's paid through Title I. And that Title I income is not part of this budget, we don't know if that's right.
Who the hell knows?
Because we
How it all
didn't
comes
take
together.
any income other than property taxes from the 3 towns. That's the only income we looked at, was the property taxes that was paid to RSU 10.
Mhm.
We didn't look at any other income because we had no numbers and no one ever.
Right,
And
so you didn't even
and
have,
special ed, if I'm correct, was just a guesstimate based off of dividing it between all the schools,
Yeah.
correct? Because you didn't have a specific number
Right.
for.
Right, so what we did was we took the 3 accounts that we knew for a fact that was the 3 towns.
Mhm.
And we said, okay, that's our known numbers.
Yeah.
And then we went through and we added up all the cost centers of the unknown numbers and things like a superintendent, which we didn't try to say superintendent / principal. We said,
Right.
no, as if we hired
Yeah.
a separate superintendent, right?
yeah,
And then we said, okay, we have this humongous number. And what we did was we divided it in a couple of different ways, but the most common sense one was we divided it by the student population.
right,
And that's how we got that second number. We added those 2 numbers together. We minus what the state pays. We
Yeah.
minus what we paid RSU 10 for property taxes. And that gave us a $2.7 million overage. We rounded up to 3 million because we paid for lawyers, we paid for some other stuff. We said, well, about 3 million. And that was the closest we've come without doing deeper dives
holy
like
crap.
we're trying to do now.
What does that do to my taxes?
Yeah.
I'm leaving, bye.
I
No.
hear you. I hear you.
No, I'm only kidding, because
hear
I
you.
do not, I mean. What? I'll keep my
Yeah, I
opinions to
think we
myself.
figured out too, what it would tax.
And then there was John Petroselli, who said, right now, the way that our budget looks today.
Yeah.
The 3 towns contribute 5-point-something million dollars, and the state puts in 4-point-something million, so the total's $10 million.
Right,
And we have, when we were talking, John Petroselli and the ad hoc group, we had a total of 497 students or 503
Yeah.
students. So it's right around 500. If you divide $10 million by 500, then you get $20,000 per kid.
Yeah.
Why can't we do a decent budget for $20,000 a student? It just doesn't make sense to not be able to do that when you come at it from that perspective.
Right.
right. Because
So-
we're spending 24.
Right.
Right now, which is outrageous.
So we have to figure out, is there a way to go for 24 and get closer to that?
Or even less than 20.
Right.
That doesn't even make any sense. Anyway,
But the revenue side.
yeah,
we
that's it.
figure it out.
Okay. You got a what?
So here you have the land.
I didn't hear you, Jeff.
You gotta get up in 6 hours.
All right.
Oh, he's gotta get up,
Yeah.
go to work. It's my sleeping day. We'll just stay here all night. Oh, numbers. I don't mind budgets and stuff like that, but I just
This is pull your hair out.
still don't even know where to start.
I know.
Even after our little discussion. I mean, I do understand it, but I just don't even know.
You want to make a motion to close? Or?
But do we have
We're
to?
done, right? But we were just having a workshop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.